What's up, guys? Hope you guys all having a great evening so far. So today in this video, I wanted to discuss something a little bit of my own experience. So I'm not. This is a quick disclaimer. I'm not saying that what it is I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying anything. I'm just sharing my experience, and you are more than welcome to listen. If not, then like I said, I keep this long because I know our attention spans are very, very short now. So if you really do care, then I guess you'd watch it, right? But anyways, so I recently put an Instagram post out on my new account, which I'm going to be using. It's called the Van City Blogger. So basically, what happened was I talked about why I quit listening to music. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that music is bad. I'm not saying that it's anything. I'm not saying anything bad against music. I'm just sharing my experience through what happened after I stopped listening to music and when I was listening to music. So, I'll give you the backstory of it. So, I started listening to music back in like when I was a kid, man. Like, I don't even know, like 11, 12. Like, actually, no, since I was a kid, like not even 11, 12, like when I was a really young kid, like music was just in my a part of my life. And it wasn't even me. It was just everywhere I went, there's music. It's just so common, right? So listen to the radio, music. You go to a store, there's music. You go to someone's house, music. It's just everywhere, right? So that was basically how it was. And I got my first, I guess, MP3 player when I was like 12. So I didn't really actually go out of my way to listen to music until I was like 11, 12 years old. So I got my first MP3 player. I listened to a few songs. It's cool here and there. Then when I was a lot younger, I used to listen to a lot of rock. Um, I don't know why. I just liked it. Then as I started growing up, I guess maybe my circle changed. So I started listening to a lot of hip hop, and that was my go-to all the time, right? So basically, what happened was I would listen to a lot of music, and I listen at that time. I didn't listen to too much music. I listened to just music here and there, just for fun. Like it wasn't something that I would go to just like every single day or something. I just listen to it here and there. Maybe I'll listen to a song or two whenever I felt like listening to a song. But yeah, so there was a time, I think I was like 15 or 16, where that's when I started going through a lot of that's when I started going through my depressive states and my depressive stage. And that was a time when I sort of realized that I didn't really have anyone to talk to, and I didn't really have anyone to turn to. So my alternative was music. So for all those years since then, like I would listen to music all the time, constantly. I would wake up in the morning, music. I would put on my headphones, go outside, start my day, and go out. And then whenever I finish class, whenever I do this and that, music. I would come back home. I come to my room and listen to some music. I would listen to music about, I would say, 8 to 10 hours a day. I'm not even kidding, if not more. Basically I would listen to music anytime that I was by myself, and if I was around someone, I'd have like a headphone right here, and I'd listen, and then I'd talk here and there. So that was my big music was probably like the thing I loved the most. I loved music more than anything, to be honest. I loved it more than, yeah, I loved it so much. And you know, the thing about it was when I was listening to it, I would love it. Like I would be in that kind of state. But then after a while, like you guys probably get this too. When you listen to a lot of music, you get tired of it. Like it starts to become old, played out. That's why nowadays, like music just comes. It comes every single, like a new album comes a week. Like, every week there's a new album now with streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and all these different services. It's so easy to listen to music. Like there's so many people, there's so many artists putting out music. Now it's come to a point where so many artists are putting out music, even if they have a huge recognition on social media or just in general, they're not making money, they're not making revenue. They have to rely on the record label, and all that jazz. But anyway, that's besides the point. So for me, I listened to a lot of music then, and at that, but one thing that I found when I was listening to all this music, because when I heard it, I was like, wow, this I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. But then because I'm someone that's really deep into my like I'm really deep into my thoughts, music would sort of put me to a point where I couldn't think properly. I just couldn't think straight. Like every time I was feeling some kind of way, I'd listen to music, and then music would help me for a couple. I would say, it would be a couple minutes or maybe an hour, and then all of a sudden, like my mind just became like spiraled, and it just made me. My emotions would go here to there to there to there to there to there. It was insane. So all these years, all this stuff would happen, and I couldn't control it because you know I would just continually turn to music. I would, like I said, I listened to 8 to 10 hours a day. I would go for walks. I'd have my headphones on, music. Like I would, like I said, I would come home, music. Music was like the what if there's anything that I if there's anything that I could say that I loved more than anything, it was music. Like I loved music, and at some point it became, as weird as it sounds, it became a little bit of an addiction where I just really wanted to listen to music. But then if you really think about today's music, I'm not that's why I'm not trying to start an argument here. I'm just trying to share my experience. If you listen to today's music, listen to what they actually say. Like listen to the actual lyrics. 95% of the music that is out there is utter garbage. So imagine putting 8 to 10 hours a day of garbage inside of your ear, listening to it. Imagine listening to, you know what, how they say like listen to something like I'm like positive thoughts, like I say I'm able, I will become a great person, something like that. Imagine listening to something that is, especially since I listen to hip hop, like it would you know talk, it would demoralize women, talk about how money, it would talk about like basically the worship of money, your inner ego, like just getting your ego out there. A lot of rappers like to talk about how they're this and that, like it just kept going that kind of way. And I didn't notice this when I was younger. Like when I was younger, I'd listen to music, I never actually listened to lyrics. But then as I started growing up, I realized, like, yo, Ibra, like something's not working here. Like you are in this constant depression, and you're constantly thinking negatively, and yet you're still going back to it. And you know that you should, if you want to listen to something positive, listen to something good. But you're not listening to anything that's productive, you're not listening to anything that brings you up. You're just listening. That's why I'm saying that I'm not criticizing music. I'm just saying that in my personal like experience through music. So yeah, it just kept going that way. And then anytime I get like something amazing, like say I got a new job or I got something else, I got a like a pay raise or something like that, the first thing I would do, because I never really had anyone to um, that's part of my issue. I never really had anyone to go to actually tell someone, hey, I just got a new job or something like that. Like I never, like, as much as I want to tell people, I just didn't have that sense of like connection. So I would turn to music, and I would celebrate with music, and I'd just go for walks, and I'd just enjoy it and enjoy it and enjoy it. Whenever I felt down, I listened to music. It was something that really helped me. But at the same time too, it also put me back to that pattern of this pattern of confusion. My mind's just constantly running. I don't know what I'm doing. This kind of thing. So I decided to quit, and it was last year around this time, and I decided to go cold turkey. And you know what? You're doing something that you're doing something, and you decide to go cold turkey. There's two scenarios. Either you just go cold turkey, which is fine. And what I mean by cold turkey is basically quit. Like quit without even just quit next day. Be like, oh, next tomorrow I'm gonna quit. So you quit, right? Or you quit, but like you're just constantly going crazy. So I was like going crazy because like imagine like you're investing 8 to 10 hours a day, if not more, to something, and then you just decide to leave it, right? Like just leave it. You are gonna constantly think about that thing, and it's gonna constantly be in your head, right? So yeah, it was just like that, and then I went crazy, and then like I just went, okay, you know what? I just fell back and I just went back to all my bad habits. And it wasn't until I think 2 months ago where I decided, you know what? Let's find some alternatives. What can help you with your productivity, and what can you do? Because the thing is that I do like to listen to a lot of things. I learn by listening. That's how I learn. So I always needed to find something that I can listen to. So so that's where I decided to turn to podcasts. Previously, I had Audible. I still have it, but I it's audiobook, so it's very different. Whereas a podcast is someone who's it's sort of like human to human connection, and you're listening to someone discuss something. So there's the Joe Rogan podcast. Some of the Ty Lopez. I listen to Gary Vee here and there, and yeah, just all these different podcasts I listen to. And at some point, I was like, wow, like my productivity is starting to change, like little by little, and but at the same time, it's like my my mindset's changing, and I can't explain it, but it's just like all that anxiety that I had inside of me, just all that worry, it started to go away slowly. Like I still had that sense of loneliness, I still had that sense of disappointment, like being unsure, but it wasn't too bad. And I was like, wow, I could sort of live with this. I actually enjoy listening to podcasts. Like I was like, wow, this is it. I love this. This is amazing. And the more I listen to podcasts, the more I like whenever I heard music, I was like, this is cool, but it's not really for me, right? Like I hear the lyrics, I hear everything that's going on, even the most popular songs you hear nowadays, like it's just not like like I'm not saying that there's a lot of music that you can listen to that you can reside with, but then the majority of it, like the mainstream or even the underground type of music, is just it's just nothing. Like it's just like you're storing your mind with a bunch of like just random things, and it just glorifies like all the things that that we shouldn't be glorifying, right? So I'm gonna give a little bit of a detailed talk on this, but I just wanted to share my experience. So lately, I've been listening to the Quran, and some people the Quran. So it's been very very interesting listening to it. At first, I was like, like I was listening to it, here and there, and it's in Arabic, so it's like you listen to the melody of it. But at some point, my mind started to change, and my mind, like it's weird, like I don't even though the one thing I have that is quite often, I think we all have this, is loneliness. That's something that I've always had, and I think it's just there. But everything else that I had was and I had a better flow in my life, and things started getting better. I started becoming more productive. I'm starting to make some more money, and it's like I have more of an awareness of creation and life itself, and it's crazy. And I also feel like I'm a little more humble than I was when I was listening to hip hop, because hip hop glorifies the ego, which is the ego is like something that we all want to be the top dog, this kind of thing. So that's what rap glorifies. Whereas when I was in the Quran, it's talking about creation. It's talking about how everything has just been assembled together, and how we're here for a purpose, and we're here to discuss like all these different things. I will do a part two, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, peace.